I'm saying all this because I think people can relate where you're like, we talked about it last episode. It's like, I can do all the work. I can make all these big strides forward.
Right.
And you can still fall down. And like, you might fall down.
Well,
but like, you won't stay there. And I'm just afraid there's still this ghost
that you'll
like,
stay there.
I'm afraid that I'm going to go to those dark places that I know that are in me. And I'm going to stay there and like ruin everything and sabotage everything.
I don't think you will. But I was going to say, you are definitely not alone because the shame of it all is such a real thing.
Oh, I'm blinded over there and not over here. In, out.
It'll just be like,
out.
Hi, welcome back to this
everyone.
podcast.
We
We're
are
avoiding the sun.
Dealing with that 5 p.m. light, y'all.
Golden hour.
Golden. And you know what? This will be a golden episode.
Yes, it will. Oh my God. Meg, we're back.
We have overcome.
This is very exciting. If y'all are watching us on the YouTube, a reminder that you should be, then Meg and I, unlike last time, can touch. And also, we are back on the couch together. Okay. Yay! Because Meg is like a literal genius, and she's been troubleshooting our, God, I don't know what it is about this podcast. The technical difficulties just like to, they come to find us.
It's just testing us, being like, do you really wanna?
But incredibly long, boring story short, we're fucking back.
We're back.
Together on the couch.
That's right. You can't take us apart.
No, you can't. And on that note, guys, a formal welcome to Chronic the Podcast.
Woo!
Woo woo!
Yes, welcome back to this community where we are LOLing through our chronic shit, baby.
And you're here LOLing with us.
Lol.
I mean, very much these technical difficulties are not something that we're lolling at, but we're going to loll right through it.
No, we quite literally, I quite literally spiraled a few times. We outsourced. We did all kinds of things.
Guys, Meg is really the MVP. She really did it all.
It's so silly. And you're looking at this video and you're like, but guys, the quality is still such crap. Okay, we're still on an iPhone.
We're still on an iPhone budget, folks. So fuck you.
But the sound is crystal.
Oh, not only is it crisp and crystal clear, it is from both of these microphones.
Yes.
Right, Coos?
That's right.
Yeah.
Poor Coos. He has been a little cooped. He's a little coopster.
We know something about being cooped. Very much so.
Yeah.
But that's not what I meant to get into right away. I'm always just like, and here we go.
Chronic. It's so funny that we literally keep being like, let's move away from chronic. Like, no one wants to listen about sick stuff. And then it's like,
sick stuff. No, chronic is, yes, it is about sick stuff, but it has always also been about all of the other things that just like affect us.
Yeah.
So
the backdrop is sick stuff. And then the front drop is...
The way you said that reminded me of, this is so dumb. It's such a dumb reference. I'm going to power through and say it anyway. The show, like the news show that on Daria, they always listen to Sick Sad World.
Oh God, that is...
But that's what you sounded like.
The deepest.
It's a
deepest cut.
I know.
My God.
I know. That's actually, wait, no, I was going to say that's a really
Oh.
funny segue into nothing really, but that last season, I was so much like, F45 is my life. Guys,
Kettlebell or die.
We took a summer break, and I'm back to say that I've since quit F45. Listen,
you creatine was every other word, and now it's
creatine F45. I told so many people to take creatine. I'm still team creatine. I do think it's still like if you are physically active,
creatine
hard, like all the time, like 4 or 5 plus days a week, then you should be taking it. It really did make me feel better. I don't regret a single thing I said to anyone.
I want to just highlight the fact
or
that
my
you
journey.
quit F45 and literally Jamie got a new phone and she realized she could voice text me because her speaker was broken before. So
I'm a new person.
A few hours ago realized she could voice text me, but had been trying to half hand text me with cheesy fingers because she was enjoying a cheesy snack. Anyway, it's just fun how far we've come.
We've come so far, guys. But I did get a new iPhone. It's incredibly exciting. I haven't gotten a new phone since 5 years ago. But for whatever, like they start failing you on purpose. It's like a whole thing.
I don't even think that's a conspiracy.
It's not. No, they start failing on purpose.
Openly,
Yes. Well, so mine was doing that at the time because I'm not I love Mac products. I own them, but I am not such a, I don't know, Mac head. Is that what you call
I'm
it?
just drowning in dongle.
No, but I'm
over
just
here.
always.
That is not a squee, but we are drowning in
That's
dongle.
no, but I'm saying like I'm not such an Apple fan that because there are people who the second the new one comes out, they go get it.
Yeah,
That's
but those
just-
people. Hey, guess what? Segue, Jamie.
Did you
Those people have
squee
jobs.
in the middle of that? Did you squee in the middle of that?
Maybe.
Okay, yeah, people have jobs. Lucky you.
And that's our
Lucky those
episode.
people. We're a little cracked out this episode, y'all.
Oh, okay, wait. But to really quickly, like a 1, 2, 3 kickball change, we are talking about work stuff. We are talking about self-worth around money, around jobs. We also, though, want to kick off the episode with shout outs because that's our new favorite thing.
Yeah. I just want to give a really quick shout out to Hannah.
Woo!
My friend Hannah, who listens to our podcast. We appreciate you so much. But Hannah sent me just a really funny and amazing, speaking of iPhones, actually, Hannah, I love you so much. Hannah's just not a big technology person. Not everyone is. Hi, hello, this podcast. My God, I just realized that. No, but Hannah was in the car listening to our podcast and she discovered how to voice text to me for the first time. So that was exciting for everyone involved.
Yeah.
But she really enjoyed the last episode and following the fun and bringing more joy into your life and just not stressing about the things that are literally and figuratively killing us. And that was it was just nice to hear that from her.
Hell yeah. Shout outs for the day. Also, as we all know, I am an etymology.
She is.
And it's so funny because I've been telling more and more people about this love of mine. And now I'm getting,
They bring it to you.
oh, it comes to me, honey.
Whoa.
We love it. So a lot of you are on the gram and an etymology has been whizzing around and it has come to my inbox many a time.
We love to see it.
And we love to see it because it is launching us on today's episode.
Mm-hmm.
So the word freelance, everyone's like, is this real, Meg? Do your research. So freelance, yeah, guess what that comes from? It literally
Tell the people.
Tell the people. It literally came from lances for hire. They weren't like assigned to a lord. You could hire, it was like a lance for hire.
But weren't all of those things? Okay, wait, by the way, when we say lance, it's like
Literally
like
a lance.
jousting.
Like, it's called a lance.
Jousting?
Hello.
But is it, did the lances joust?
Better a boy with a stick than a, what is it? Better a silly girl with a flower than a boy with a stick. It's called the lance. Hello.
I don't know what that's from.
Oh my gosh. Knight's Tale was my favorite movie as a kid.
Okay, I've obviously seen it, but it was not my favorite.
That's okay. Well, my joke can live where it landed, which was in my world.
That's on your side of the couch. No, wait, but is it like they're jousting, right?
Well, I think the lance can be in jousting. Maybe lance also alludes to any kind of like pointy thing you're stabbing someone with.
Okay. But so in the world of knights in general,
In the world of knights.
right?
Yes. So the whole joke going around is that we are all knights.
We're actually more important than we
Ooh.
think we are.
We are all essential workers.
Yes, we are.
Okay. So we
But-
just both went,
Anyway, no. But Meg brings, so like being freelance, and that's like a big topic, especially for
it means
us,
we don't have lords.
AKA the rest of us who are freelance who don't really have a job. You can attach that word to, I guess, any industry, but we very much hear it in ours because we're both in entertainment.
Yes.
It's something I've always said. I'll come back to the meat of this, but like of the episode, something I've always said just to like make myself feel better and others too, which is true, is that think about like really big directors.
Yes.
They're all freelance.
Yes.
They don't work for a studio.
They have like really
could.
nice lances.
They're incredibly wealthy and they're also really great at what they do, so they don't have to worry.
They have gilded
But if you really
scabbards.
think about it,
Yeah.
big directors,
The actors are freelance.
Everybody-
What are we talking
everyone
about?
that you like, all the A-listers guys, they're all actually freelance because they're not. I mean, I guess some people do have contracts, right? If you're doing like a series or if you're doing a
Yeah.
what do you call it? Not a series. What is it called in movie land?
A series of movies.
No, but what's that called? A trilogy? No, it's only if it's 3.
There could be more than 3.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I do, and I can't help you.
Okay, great. Anyway, my etymology isn't here today.
Zoinks.
Anyway, this is all to say, so we're talking about freelance and work and stuff like that because currently, and I'll just speak for, well, both of us have been freelance for quite some time.
Yes.
So, and in case anyone isn't like fully aware of what that means, I feel like you do, but in case you don't, and there's no shame if you don't, freelance just means that you are free to Lance.
I'm free to
wherever
Lance.
you go. No, but you work job to job as opposed to working for a specific company,
which was cute.
Well, you know what? It has its pluses and minuses.
Yeah, I feel like you have been on such a journey of going from corporate girly to no job to I might try this freelance thing. I think I hate it to then, oh, I think I like parts of this freelance thing. And now back to I want to be a corporate baby.
You know, it's so funny. When I really heard the term freelance when I started in this industry. We're rewind back to 2012.
Cute.
2012 when I was an editor at a really small production house in the Bronx. Shout out Harrington Talents. None of you would be listening to this, but in case you are, that would be very fun.
We would love.
Okay, but so like they would hire crew to shoot the commercials and stuff, and they were all freelance. And I had a couple conversations with some of the guys who had been freelance for forever, because especially in the entertainment, it is way more common to be freelance than it is to work in corporate.
No, it's so silly. I was talking to a friend who she used to do wardrobe. She was a union wardrobe, always on gigs before the strikes and all the craziness. And she has since this year acquired a 9-to-5. She can't even process it. She's like,
does she like it? It feels good.
Now she likes it. There was a learning curve.
The adjustment.
As you know, I am terrified of 9-to-5. Like that to me seems so all consuming, and like
that's so interesting.
Every day you want me to be at the same place, and like,
well, it's such a different world now too, because 9-to-5 is such a generalized term.
Sure, like, are you in the office all the time?
No, most places have hybrid schedules now, and it's a lot more feasible. But anyway, they all have their pluses and minuses. But I was always a corporate girly because my first editing job was that. I went to an office 5 days a week, and that's what I did as an editor. But no, I've always had like steady jobs that I went 9-to-5, and I had benefits and like all these things. And it wasn't until my journey really started when I quit my job back in 2021. I went to another job, quit that job. You can leave if you hate it, guys. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. I'm here to tell you you can survive. That was the first time I was just like, I will take a winter break for December and figure it out in the new year.
Oops.
No, but it was fine. And I did. But since then, I really have been like finding a new job, hanging out for a bit, leaving, getting another job, hanging out, leaving for a little bit. It really has been more of a contract thing since then, and like truly freelance. And now I'm back to a place where I'm just like, I want to be a comfy corporate baby. Hire me 9-to-5. That sounds fabulous. I like that kind of structure though, and not everyone does, which is why people also, because you've said it in a good way about, we are so opposite that I love doing the corporate thing and having the set schedule and the routine and blah, blah, blah. And I like going to the same place with the same people. And I like meeting new people, obviously, but it's also nice to have like people in the office and work besties and whatever. And you have said in the past that you like doing the freelance thing and like new group of people. Yeah. Next one, new group of people.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But I think the chronic part of this, if I were to like loop it in, is that like, what's the part, what we're talking about, the part that has been just like really fucking hard these last like, I don't know, 2 years that we've been you've been in and out of stuff. But I feel like, and the conversations we're having with other people is like, as much as you can intellectualize that your self-worth is not tied to a job title, your self-worth is not tied to your bank account. Like, there's an element of just feeling purposeful and useful. And that has been so all consuming that you and I have been, you guys, it's so funny because Jamie and I have a really beautiful, it's not, I would say non-codependent, because we have such a dynamic of when I'm down, you're up. When you're down,
we literally talked
up.
about that last night. It's so funny. Yeah.
And so there's this tug of war happening where Jamie's like, I can't see straight. Life has no meaning. I'm like, let's cook something.
Yeah.
And then Meg is spiraling, and Jamie's like, here's a really cute card.
Yeah, happiness.
Oh my God, you guys, Jamie, I was spiraling this week, and Jamie got me a card that says, on the front of it, it says, you, gets born. Universe, drops mic and walks off stage.
Okay, but if anyone knows Meg Buzza, then I was like, that card is her.
It was so nice and so sweet. And I appreciate that you are so consistently occasional with your like little gestures.
Consistently occasional.
Well, it's like people have like only special occasions do I tell people how I feel or show people that I care.
I'm an anytime occasion.
You are like a chronic occasion.
Well, I also really don't like to see my friends suffering, and when I see my friends really just like unable to climb out of it, you know. It's probably also a tiny bit selfish for me too, because if like I managed to get my friend like, let's go on a fun day and do a thing or whatever, like I want to make people feel happy. I want to make people feel good. I want everyone to like,
and you do.
I just want everyone to eat rainbows and smile and whatever that line is. Yeah.
But I think it's true. Like we both want to pull each other up.
Yeah.
And I have to also, that's part of my human revolution, is that like, I want to make everyone feel better all the time. I want to help everyone win all the time, for better or for worse. And like, if I can't help people feel better, that used to spin me out of like, I have to fix this. I have to make it better. And it's like,
you don't have to fix
that's
everything.
Something that someone has to go through on their own.
And that's something I also work through too. Like you don't have to fix it all right now.
No.
Or today.
No. And be able to sit in the discomfort. I remember I had a really great convo years ago with a buddy. And at the time I was in therapy. I'm not in therapy anymore. Neither of us are in therapy because you know what? That costs money.
Money, honey.
Also, I want to say, bouncing off of last episode, we talked about stop healing. I think too, everything is a tool and it has a time and a place. And so I have found for me that like at certain crucial moments, therapy has been so helpful. Yeah. And then I hit waves of like, I don't think it's serving me to keep picking this apart or keep kind of staying in this ick or whatever it is. And so I have felt really strong and confident. And even therapists telling both you and me going, you're good. You're good.
This is just my opinion. I don't think therapy is there like for you, like you don't have to have it to function
like you need
for the
it
rest
to
of your
function.
life.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Case in point, when I first moved to LA and I was in my previous relationship and it was not working for me, but I was really struggling with that. I found a therapist. And I was struggling with it. I mean, like I moved to a new city and blah, blah, blah. So I found a therapist. I loved her. I don't even really remember her name, but she was great. I love you wherever you are.
Shout out.
But anyway, no, but I'm saying like, so I was really struggling with what to do about my relationship. She really helped me like through the relationship, through the breakup. And then honestly, after the breakup and some time had passed, both of us were kind of just like, cool. That was kind of the only issue I had. So thank you so much for your time.
Bye.
But like it's there whenever you need it and for however long you need it.
I feel like it's almost comparable to going to the gym. It's like if you haven't gone
to the gym, you have a goal.
Yeah, and you're like, "Oh, I'm a little like unsure about what to do," and you get a personal trainer, and the personal trainer gives you a lot of tools, and then you get to a point where they're like, "Actually, you've got this. You can probably program for yourself. You can probably and look, I'm here if you want to do a touch-up session or whatever, or if you have a specific goal you want to work on, call me."
Right.
But like I really
when you get the tools to help you with and what you need, it's okay to walk away.
And we talked about trusting ourselves in the last episode, and that was what it was. Do you see something?
I heard a noise and I thought it was the cable like doing that.
Was it the ghost? Sorry. Was it the child ghost in the ceiling?
Oh no. Don't haunt us right now.
There's a child living next door and the way that I don't know how the structure of the house is, but she runs on the ground floor. We are also on the ground floor. But
there is only, just so everyone's clear, like
one floor.
There is only one floor of like this entire property. So the apartment next door and this one, it's all on the same floor. But we were watching TV and we heard footsteps above us. And we were like,
we're very far away from this
She's
child.
A toddler. She's like a 3-year-old. We were like,
why is she on the roof?
Is she on the roof?
Is she in the ceiling?
It was very funny. And then kind of laughter too. So it very much was like haunted. It was haunting. Okay.
Like
so sorry. Back to what you were saying. Just having the tools to like.
Yeah. Having the tools. And I think, and trusting ourselves. And I think I had a really hard time parting with therapy because I think I was still living in an old chapter of my life where I did feel like if I'm not constantly in checks and balances with all of my resources, like I'm going to spin out and crash, because that had been my experience before then of like not knowing what's going on with my mental health, living alone, being in like big cities, like crashing and burning a lot, and then realizing like, oh, I do need certain resources. Then getting to a place of development where you're like, oh, I don't actually need this like I did before. Yeah. And
we're still growing and getting older and maturing, you know.
And I have my Buddhist practice, which is we don't practice blind faith. We don't think like, oh, just because I have this philosophy, I don't need other things. Buddhism says chant for the wisdom to have the best other things. So like if you need a therapist, find the best therapist. If you need medicine, get the best medicine. It's not like, oh, I'll just be fixed and saved because I do this thing.
Right.
That's nonsense. So I really struggled to part ways with therapy. And this is me being so dramatic, but I literally was like, I don't think I should date if I'm not in therapy. I don't feel like I can handle like just, it was interesting. Like I think I had such a like distrust in myself still that I was like, I'm going to cause pain or I'm going to crash and burn.
If you didn't have that resource just like right there. Oh, that's so interesting.
Like constantly keeping me on track. But then the liberation of letting it go and going like, no, you've got this.
Yeah.
And you can check in if you need to. And then like, I mean, having good people around to talk to.
I was going to say, it's really interesting that you say that because something I'm really learning this year, not even this year, now. This started like
in this moment, I have learned something.
This has started a few weeks ago. No, something I'm learning. I mean, like, well, I'll take it back slightly to just like the whole freelance and unemployment thing is it really teaches you kind of like a little bit of what you're saying. Like it kind of teaches you to, out of necessity, be on your own, stand on your own, you know, like you have to be okay with I'm such a routine oriented person. I like to think of myself as someone who goes with the flow, and I can go with the flow if I have some choices lined up just in case, but I can totally go with the flow.
I am so flexible when I have clear choices ahead of me.
Okay, but you also know me. I do think I am a pretty go with the flow kind of person. Unless there's like something I really had my heart set on.
Yes.
And even then I do tend to just be like, that's okay. Maybe we'll come back to that. But I am pretty go with the flow. No, but like I am also very rigid in I will say just to myself. Yeah. I'm so rigid to myself. So like not having a steady gig really throws me, but I've learned to just like kind of figure that out. I'm really also just learning how to let my life kind of put its pieces in place. Like you don't need to know everything. You don't need to like or just do things differently.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really stupid to say. Here's an example. I have never hung up shit in my apartment. Literally just started recently. I've lived in this apartment for over 3 years. I have never hung a single piece of artwork up. I literally have pieces of artwork that I bought at my favorite store back in Astoria in, I'm going to guess 2016, 2017. Shout out to Lockwood in Astoria. If you know, you know.
In their cellophane.
It was still in the plastic. I had purchased it. I had never taken it out. And I put it in a frame and I put it on my wall. Like that felt
Who is she?
I'm just saying like it really is kind of crazy to just like find these little pieces and be like, you don't have to live with blank walls. You can put things up. Yeah. You don't have to live the same way all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just like there are certain things, even if they're not great for you, that you find comfort in. Mm-hmm. And I was doing a lot of that. And I think I'm now trying to just be like, hey, it feels good to be a person, doesn't it? Hey.
Ayo.
Ayo.
Well, and I think you and I have just been really having a shared experience of like, I feel like I'm doing my best. Mm-hmm. And I'm still struggling.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's hard. And I know that our listeners can relate because I know who's listening. And I also know that I've just been having these dialogues with people of, it's hard. Again, we can intellectualize. My worth isn't attached to my productivity or my worth isn't, but like.
As two people who thrive when we succeed.
Yes.
We like to succeed.
Yes.
And we like to do a great job, not just a good job. We like to do a great job and crush it. And when you are feeling like, first of all, you have nothing to crush. You know what I mean? Like when you don't have a job, you have nothing really to crush.
Let me crush something.
No, but like it's not our self-worth, but like it doesn't all hang on that. Yeah. But we like to succeed and we like to do a good job. And when you have nothing to do that for, it's really hard.
Yeah. And we have been
day after day.
Yeah. And I think we have this like oscillation of wins where some days it's like, okay, I go to the coffee shop, I work on the project, I do whatever, or like I have my clients, which I fucking love working with my clients. Mm-hmm. And then I have my rehearsals and I have my SGI activities. It's like, there's so much going on for me a lot of times, but it doesn't negate that there are still some of these days where like, you know, we'll do our little check-ins, like how are we doing? And I think I didn't know that my lack of ability to find like a kind of a concrete, as much as I like to be a freelancer, having some sort of foundational,
like a regular schedule thing, whatever it is.
Yeah. Cause you know what, it's been 4 days now that I've been kind of flared up with and last episode we were like, woo, Meg feels great. Yeah. Meg feels great. And Meg still has long COVID. And I don't even like saying that, but I've been surprised by how flared up I've been for like 4 days. But looking back on the data, I'm like, okay, what led up to that? And I think I was spinning myself out a little bit because I do feel so much angst to move things forward and make things happen and like constantly be advancing because I love to advance and I love to learn. I love to grow.
Right. And when you're sitting at home how much are you really doing of that?
Yeah, and I like to fill the space. But then it's like, to what end does she then burn herself out?
Well, it's really interesting that you say that about like filling the space, because the thing I was going to say is, especially in this industry, I think most people, freelancers, but also just the corporate babies as well, for lack of a better term, that's what I'll be calling them now. Corporate babies and freelancers alike, especially in the entertainment industry, especially in LA. Everybody has 75 different creative projects going on all the time.
Write a script, doing an EP.
But literally when I first moved here and I met everyone and they were all saying like, oh, I'm in post on this and I'm writing these 2 scripts and I have this thing in progress or whatever. I literally started to write 2 scripts, y'all. And I say that I wrote like a page. Actually, they're not even scripts. I really just started to like write 2 stories.
Night.
No,
blood everywhere.
I started. One of them.
Interior.
One
later.
of them was
blood
a rom.
everywhere.
One of them was a zombie movie, and one of them was a rom-com.
Exterior night.
She has
Zombies
dimension. Okay,
everywhere.
it's not all just death and blood.
Interior.
But I do enjoy it.
Love. Zombies everywhere.
No, but I just started writing the stories because I didn't really even understand how to write a script. Script writing sucks. I'm just gonna say that for myself. It
You should
sucks.
dump the story first to be like.
But that's what I'm saying. I needed
out
to write the story
later.
so I could figure out
Yeah.
what it all looks like. But anyway, I wrote like a paragraph of maybe each at different points in my life, and then I was like, I hate this and I hate writing. And it occurred to me I don't actually have to do anything. But I will say I am a little envious of those people who have passions such as those and are just constantly cranking stuff out.
Yeah.
Because that fills up your fucking time.
It's at least something that you can like hate yourself for something else.
No, but it's true. I'm envious of those people because I would kill for something I really want to do. What did I do? What did I make recently? Did I make something recently and it was fun?
You
Did I?
disco. You made a whole disco party, Jamie.
Okay, I did, but doesn't count.
No, but it's true. I mean, literally the moment that we were able to record the podcast again, you had all of a sudden you were like, oh, I'm going to edit. I'm going to go to a coffee shop. I'm going to do this thing. And it's like, yes,
Okay,
to have a little focus, a little nugget.
Did do that one day.
And it was great.
And by the way, I went to the one cafe in Highland Park that does not have free Wi-Fi. And I was like, when I tell you I bought my fucking
so on
$7
theme.
coffee.
No.
I was so excited. I had my laptop. I got ready that day. I finally went to one of the coffee shops I had looked up. You think I would have found this in the research. I didn't somewhere. And I found a good parking spot. I walk in, I get my coffee, and then I go, I snagged a table. It was by the bathroom, but I snagged a table at my own table.
I think it should be illegal
to not offer Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
But wait, once I discovered there's no Wi-Fi, I literally turned to look at everyone with their laptops, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you all doing
all these
here?
rich hotspotters.
We're all hotspotting, and I hotspotted because I was like, well, I can't.
Hotspotting sounds like your thriller that you need to write instead of train spotting.
But literally, I'm just like, I'm so glad I spent my $7 coffee, and I will now be hotspotting my own fucking phone to not tell. By the way, guys,
Hotspot myself
to redo my resume. That's what I spent 2 hours doing that day. But it did feel good. It felt good to get out with the people and do the thing.
Yeah.
And I was listening to these 2 guys next to me. I was like, listen, when you're at a coffee shop, what else can you do besides your own work? And eavesdrop. These 2 guys.
Hotspot eavesdrop.
I was trying to decide. I can't tell if they both went to the same high school or college. I'm thinking college. And they reconnected. And I think one of them is a producer in a studio and works on music. And he's talking about going to the studio. And I forgot what the other guy did. But it was like both friendly and professional at the same time. So I was like, is this networking or are you friends? I can't tell if
I feel like that's the undertone of most LA conversations.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, of course it
friends,
is like, well,
professionals.
like, oh my God, it was so nice to reconnect and see you. And also, what can you do for me? What can you do for me?
Okay, speaking of that, as you've been talking and as we're kind of like zip zap zopping around this episode, because I think we jumped in knowing what we want to talk about, but I did want to find the like humanity of the conversation too. And I think I may be landing on something here. I had an interesting conversation Wednesday after my musical improv show. Everyone mingles, everyone hangs out. And of course, there's a propensity in our community or in any, again, we are speaking very much to like the LA environment, but there is such a thing when you're hanging out. It'd be like, so what are you working on? Right?
It always comes because,
or where do you work? What do you do?
Exactly.
And it creates a lot of anxiety. And I remember after the pandemic, it was going viral everywhere during the pandemic where people were like, especially after the election, people were like, okay, everyone, we need to move forward as a society, and at family gatherings, let's avoid asking what your job is, asking if you want to have kids, asking who you're dating. People were kind of tossing that around as like it can create a lot of pressure, especially at a time like this when people are really spiraling out about that stuff. So like, let's not talk about that.
I'm really happy about that, because you should also not ask people if they're in a relationship when they're moving in together, when they're getting engaged, when they're getting married, when they're having kids.
None of your business.
None of your business. Stop asking literally about anything. Let the people that you are chatting with, I mean, like, I don't want to blanket statement and then say like, never ask any questions ever.
Don't talk to people. Just don't talk to people.
Go to your family dinner
sit
and
in
sit
silence.
quietly.
Hold hands, kiss, move on. That's what I
No,
do
but
for
just, you know, be mindful that people might be going through something. But anyway, keep going.
So I feel like I've been trying to, this is two-pronged, adopt that in my daily life. And number two, as a Buddhist, be like, we're human beings. We're human beings first. And there's a really beautiful book that I have. It's a dialogue on jazz and Buddhism between Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, and Daisaku Ikeda. And they talk about the humanistic approach to being an artist, being a performer. And so much of it, they go over and over. They say, I'm a human being first. I'm a jazz musician second. So when I'm on stage, I'm trying to perform as a human, connect to human beings, and show my humanity. And the instrument is the medium, right?
Yeah, like the bridge.
The bridge. And so I want them to feel my heart, not just be impressed by my technique, which actually when they were in Miles Davis's band, Miles Davis was like, I will fucking kick you off the stage if you're up there showing off. I want you to be making discoveries. I want you to be brave and courageous.
Ooh.
I want you to be sharing your creative process and sharing your authentic self with the audience.
But not showing off.
And like, hey, there's a time to show off. But I think you can show off being creatively courageous and whatnot. Like you're celebrating, you're showing up. But like,
right.
not to get caught up in appearances of like, they have this one quote in the book and it's phenomenal. And they say, playing only for applause is the cowardly approach.
No, I love that. And actually what you're saying, I think I get it. You can tell me if I've landed on it. But like, basically more so instead of having to say like, well, I'm working on this, that, and the other thing to like impress people, as opposed to being like, okay, I'm actually really excited because my project moved forward in this specific way. And I'm actually just really excited to like sink my teeth into it.
Or I tried this new recipe. And so I had a concrete experience with this on Wednesday after the show. Because again, we were around, everyone's like, what are you up to? What shows are you doing? When's your next show? When's your next show? And I remember there was a girl and she's very funny. We're talking and I go, so what are you up to? And she immediately goes, well, let's see, I am taking a class and I'm trying to do more shows and talking about musical improv. And I go, no, I mean, like, how are you as a person? Like, what's going on? Like, anything new going on in your life? And she literally stopped dead and she goes, oh my God.
No one's asked me.
No one has asked me that. And then she told me a little bit about her life. And I was like, that's awesome because we do enough musical improv. We don't need to talk about, we just did a whole show. Let's talk about other shit. And then she DM'd me literally the next day.
Because she kept thinking about it.
And she said, I just wanted to say thank you so much for talking to me like a human being last night. And I was like, yo.
I really like that. No, I want everyone to all like come back to that.
Yeah, because it does feel good.
I want to hear about you.
I want to hear about you. And I think we all just put so much pressure on ourselves to be succeeding at work and succeeding in everything. And like we talk about like these chronic expectations. And I just want to like carry more of that forward.
Yeah. Also, actually, on that note, I guess, guys, like being mindful if you have people in your life who aren't working or are looking for a job, or maybe they're miserable at their job and they're looking to transition, like try to just be mindful of people like that. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I know we can like, kind of like what you're saying, you can find yourself in conversations with people. Work, of course, happens to come up, especially if you are in a group of people, like all your friends are producers. Inevitably work comes up, or you are hanging out with your work friends,
or you're at work.
But I'm saying like it all comes up. You can't help it.
Yeah.
I like the idea of just trying to come back and being more mindful of like, even if you don't know that person that well, like maybe they don't have a lot going on, and not trying to pry, but like you don't have a lot going on. So like, let's not talk about like work and success because it's hard.
Yeah. And I know like,
and trust. And also, by the way, sorry to cut you off, but like trust us that like, as people who are going through that too, it is on their fucking mind.
Yeah, it's all they're thinking about.
It's all they're thinking about. They've spent all day thinking about it. They've spent all day trying to remedy the situation.
They are comparing themselves
and yesterday
to
and tomorrow.
Yes, and tomorrow.
and tomorrow. This is for anyone who knows.
We're not even gonna go. We're gonna go too far down.
No, what's his name?
Ross Bryant.
This is a Ross Bryant
Shout
fan
fangirl moment.
Fangirl moment.
Oh my god.
Love you.
If you haven't seen Improvised Shakespeare, go see it. Oh, but I also meant to say, I also wanted to shout out Andrew Young, who is one of my coaches, musical improv. We call him Airbud Andrew.
Airbud Andrew.
He has a show at UCB called Quick and Funny Musicals. He's fucking brilliant. He writes these, and there's other people that write songs too, but they put these full musicals together.
Oh my God.
In like a month or some shit.
It is so impressive and fantastic and amazing.
Fucking funny.
If you are in LA, or I assume New York too, yeah.
Also, you can live stream them anywhere in the world.
But if you like musicals and you like to laugh, you should absolutely fucking watch them. They're so fucking funny.
You can even hate musicals, but they're just so the commentary. But so anyway, we call him Airbud Andrew because one of his characters kept trying to write a new movie, but they all
Airbud
were
14, and they're like, well, they already came out with that one.
Yeah, it's really
great.
What about a dog that plays basketball? Yeah, that was Airbud 7.
And soccer. I already
did that one. But he is such a beautiful human being. He's so talented.
I know you're always saying he like does and says such like kind, amazing things.
Like I kind of expected like some other, and I know, hey, broad strokes. Sometimes white men in the improvised space can be a little aggressive or cocky, or their teaching style can be kind of aggressive, and their notes can be aggressive, and there's a place for every teaching style. But I don't know, I kind of expected, because I had him on a pedestal, like he's just incredible. And so when I had him as a coach, I was expecting that. And the first thing he does was, how are you guys doing? Like, how are you as a person?
Nice.
I was just like, what? And then he always encourages us at the end of a set to like, what are things you did right? Because we can go home and we can beat ourselves up all night about like, oh, I should have gotten that game better. I should have done this better. But like, what are things you did well, and let the rest of the shit go?
Yeah.
And that's how I coach my clients too. At the end of a session, I'm like, what was a victory we had? Like, yeah, we're talking about what we want to do better, what we want to fix, but like, what were victories we had? And I think you and I, we do that too, where it's like, okay, Jamie, you feel like you had this ambiguous fucking non-working day, but like, you created a victory, even if it was a little thing.
You know, it's funny that you said that, because I mean, obviously it's so easy to do that for other people. It's so hard to do that to yourself, because I for sure do that for you and like other people too. If someone tells me this like whole like, ugh, this thing happened at work and this thing and that thing and whatever, I'll be like, silver lining. I heard that little good part.
And sometimes they're like, fuck you, I just want to bitch.
I know that, sorry. And there's a time and place for that too. Yeah, obviously, but like, I like that a lot. The wins. You need the little wins. Well, especially if we're in these amorphous times in our life, right, where we don't have a lot going on. Like you say that a lot too. The tiny wins. And
it's crucial. Yeah, it's really crucial. Like, okay, we're not going to change our whole workout routine today, but like for a walk.
Quits at 45 immediately.
Oh my God, I am really struggling.
That came from a really healthy place, though. I just want everyone to know.
Yeah,
please continue.
There was no burning of the bridges.
No, keep on.
No, I would just say like I am really struggling. I feel like I'm good at creating little wins for myself of like, okay, I chanted, check. That was my morning win. Set up my morning right. I walked Cusco, check. I'm a good dog mom. I ate a good breakfast, check. You know, but yeah, I think where that can kind of hit the wall is where I'm like, okay, I've done everything for me. Yeah. And this is what we talked about the other day, and when you're having a rough one, and I mentioned the Buddhist perspective of like, now it's time to start thinking about who could I reach out to and to encourage, which is a very difficult thing to do when you're in a poopy place. Yeah. But, and we talked about this a little today, is like, sometimes I run myself ragged doing such a thing because one, again, you're everything a great person. Has an enlightened, okay, I'll take it. Everything has an enlightened and an unenlightened aspect. So like, sure, having an altruistic spirit. The one thing I've learned in my Buddhist organization is that yes, like when I take the time to go care for somebody else, when I go take the time to like drive someone to a meeting or like listen to what's going on with them or give them a phone call, even in my deepest suffering, it pulls you out because you stop thinking about your own bullshit. And that's part of why like going to work or going with friends, it makes you feel better, is because you stop thinking about yourself.
Literally, it pulls you out of...
You have to think about the task at hand.
Yes.
So I think because for the last decade, and I almost feel like I'm self-therapizing right now because I'm really trying to figure out like, why am I so burnt out with no full-time job? Many part-time situations, but I think I know how much supporting others pulls me out of depression, and I've suffered with my mental health for so long, and it's just been effective. But I think it can go off the rails where I'm like, I'm so afraid of taking time by myself to do stuff for Meg.
Like you're afraid you'll sink?
I am afraid. Yeah.
Oh.
I think I'm afraid of myself in a lot of ways. This is getting real dark. No, I think
she's scary.
She's scary. No, really.
No.
It's like
well, because I guess and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I guess like you've been in dark places and you're just scared that you'll like sink. It's like, LOL that you said that, but like it's interesting. I'll say it's interesting that you say that because kind of like you're saying you do know how to, well, first of all, you have a child. It's a dog child. You have a dog child to take care of. That's something to do like at any point during the day. Like he would be so excited. Right. But like you love to cook. You should be eating 3 meals a day or however many meals you'd like. But the government says 3. We listen to the government. No, but you know what I mean? But like cooking meals, putting them together, thinking of new. I'm just saying like I know that you have things. I do think and I know that what you're going through is always on your mind and you're trying not to, but you have so much healthy stuff that like I know you can and you do focus on and things that you can do that you wouldn't sink so deep. You also have like people in your life, like how many text messages? 21. We have 21 text messages that she hasn't read yet. Yep, since we sat down. So I'm just saying like you have so many people that like are in your vicinity, in your orbit, both physically and virtually or whatever. I don't think that would happen.
It is chaos.
But that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
You don't have to give so much of yourself.
Yeah.
To give yourself some time and space.
I think I just suffered alone for a long time. Like a lot of people do. I think when you're young, you don't know how to ask for help, or you're like, you're going through something that feels shameful. So like the eating disorder felt so shameful. And I touched on it in the episode with Sky, where we both didn't even know we had eating disorders, which is cuckoo shit because you obviously do, but you're so in denial.
Right.
You're like, this is how my world is making sense.
Right.
But I think when I was in the eating disorder, I was in so much shame that I couldn't tell people what was going on. And like, like missing class, like missing college classes.
Like a big no-no.
But I mean, I was missing because I was so deep in my shit, like literally to the point where when I tell you I've killed off so many relatives, you guys, and I thought about this the other morning and I chuckled to myself where I was like, I literally killed off like half my family in college being like, oh, well, my aunt just passed away.
Oh, I was like, I'm like, is Meg admitting to murder? I'd really like to hear the punchline of this story.
It's time. This has been weighing on me. There's no punchline other than
you fake. Let's just,
I fake murdered.
There we go.
A lot of family, or like fake sickened a lot of, I poisoned a lot of my family.
That's really funny to get out of stuff.
Because I had used up like all my absences or whatever. And
I'm so sorry.
There were times where, like I became so agoraphobic and then you're self-isolating, right? So I think because I went through that and didn't feel like I had a sense of community in college, and then just threw my ass to New York where also there's a lot of isolation and like,
even though you're around so many people, it's true.
It's the weirdest, you feel it's so congested isolation.
It is. It's such a weird thing that like you can feel so alone in a city that is like, you can't get a fucking away from people. Yeah. It's interesting.
And I think nowadays it is, I think just, and then, the fires, our house burning down. And I was like living
just a bunch of tragedies
with my parents, like with nothing around. And then I moved back to LA, didn't know anybody. And then the pandemic, isolated again. So I think there's just been this weird pattern of like me being isolated. And
but see, it's interesting though, again, that you say that, because even recently we've been talking, and I think we did mention it maybe last episode. I'm not sure if we did or not, but you have finally allowed yourself to be like, oh, this is where I live and I do have a community and I do have people. Like, this era of you living here is different.
Yes.
It's different than all the other things you just mentioned. It's different than all the other times. It's different than all the other places you've lived. But so that's what I'm saying. I think it's okay to, I don't expect you to snap your fingers and say, okay, I believe it.
Done.
We're good.
Fixed.
No, but like you can trust that you have community and people that you can lean on.
I think I do. It's like, that's what it is. I do. I know how many people I have. And I do that every morning when I'm chanting, and I do my appreciation of like my home, my dog, my Casa family, I have so many people. I mean, literally, we're looking at this number keeps going up on my fucking phone count. But
popular.
I think it's, again, like we talked about last episode, and like the theme of my conversations with so many young people right now, especially young women, it's like trusting myself.
Yeah.
And that was the whole like unhooking from therapy, and just like I've put myself through hell for so many years. I feel like I put my parents through a lot of just, again, not knowing what's going on with my mental health. And I think I just carry guilt, shame, and fear around who I am I don't even know. It's not who I am. I'm proud of who I am now. I really am. I'm really starting to know who I am and be proud of it. But I think I'm saying all this because I think people can relate where you're like, we talked about last episode. It's like, I can do all the work. I can make all these big strides forward.
Right.
And you can still fall down. And like, you might fall down. But like, you won't stay there. And I'm just afraid there's still this ghost
that you'll stay there.
I'm afraid that I'm going to go to those dark places that I know that are in me, and I'm going to stay there and like ruin everything and sabotage everything.
I don't think you will. But I was going to say, you are definitely not alone, because the shame of it all is such a real thing. And that's something that I've been experiencing throughout this whole jobless thing. And you've seen it. It's only kind of recently that I finally decided to, am I going to cry? Maybe. She does have her period.
Jamie has more liquid outside her body than inside her body. We talked about yesterday. Jamie got dehydrated on her hike and started her period. And I was like, wow, the fluids that are outside need to be inside.
I am a dry husk on the inside. No. Oh God. In so many ways, more ways than one. Anyway, no, but I was going to say the shame, like, I recently said it to my mom and my brother separately, but I was just like, I think I just finally decided to say it. I was like, I feel like such a loser. I feel like a loser all the goddamn time. Aww. I feel like a loser because not gonna cry. It's fine. And if you do, it's okay. She says to herself and 5 other listeners.
I mean, it's important to cry.
No, but like, the biggest feeling I have lately is feeling like a loser. I feel like a loser because I don't have a job. I feel like a loser because I just don't have a lot going on. Kind of like when you're saying like, hey, how's it going? What are you up to? Well, I woke up today.
I woke up like this.
I changed my sheets today.
And I'll stay like this. That was a good one.
I mean, part of the reason that I have, like I said earlier, implemented like all these little things to make my life like feel better and happier in teeny tiny ways is to make me feel like more of a human. But there is a lot of shame in not having success and not having a lot going on. And kind of like you're saying, I mean, like it is so easy to like fall into it. And so that is also one reason I'm sad. And I do get upset sometimes if like plans are derailed sometimes, right? Because it's just like I was
holding on to that.
I was, though. It's like sometimes when I make plans, I'm just like, this is the thing that I'm so looking forward to, and then it goes away, and it's just like, well, cool.
And we can pivot, but like,
but and like that's all to say too that I do just try to tell myself like, you know what, that was today. It's okay. I'm literally just keep looking forward to tomorrow. I just keep looking forward to the next day, like. Clean slate, fresh start, something else to look forward to, something else to do, something else to focus on. Maybe my brain will think of something else to do tomorrow. No, but
But it's true.
These are just real. I'm just real feelings.
No, I'm so excited we got here because this is where I wanted to get with this. Was that like we both have been tossing that around. It's like I feel like a loser because of my like financial situation, whatever it is, and fuck me, it's like the amount of people that are saying that, and it sucks that. I mean, I hate that you feel that way, and I can't take it away. And you're not a loser, but me saying that doesn't matter.
Well, same. Like, I want to come over here. That's why I try to like do little things to cheer you up, because I don't want to think of you sitting at home being like, I hate that. I hate that for you.
And your love language is so sweet with your gift giving, and then it makes me feel like I feel bad because I want to buy you things and like do the reciprocate.
All I want to do, I just want everyone to know that if I had endless amounts of money, all I would do is buy people shit that they don't need. But I do try to think of that. I know everyone doesn't want a bunch of tchotchkes just in their home. That's why I also bought you vegetables.
You guys,
like, she would eat them.
Jamie brought me a care package, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
The care package had a bag of broccoli.
Because she likes broccoli.
Because I fucking love broccoli.
Sometimes we'll have a broccoli appetizer.
We often have a broccoli. We eat broccoli out of the air fryer while
so
the food is cooking.
It's so good.
And
we're health.
And I am health. But then she gets me also fucking dill mustard.
Okay,
mustard.
Y'all, if you have a Trader Joe's near you or you like Trader Joe's, I'm telling you right now, if you like dill pickles and you like mustard, but really just the dill pickle situation, it is seasonal. It's $1.99. I would normally never tell you how much I spent on a gift, but it was so cheap. You should, because it is seasonal. It won't be there all year long until I guess next year. But dill pickle mustard. This girl, I've said it before on the podcast for sure. Her body is made up of like Probably 70% water, as all humans are, but like 30% vinegar.
Probably vinegar. Someone asked me what my favorite
Pickled.
food was the other day, and
You
I said
said
vinegar.
So gross.
But like vinegar, brine, like
We've said it before. We will make dinner. We'll put our bowls of the same dinner together. She gets out that fucking vinegar, man. She just vinegars her food.
I don't, and it's weird 'cause I don't like sugar, but there's sugar in vinegar, so it's like it is a sweet
It's not
thing.
sweet.
It can. Well, balsamic vinegar has way more sugar than I ever thought it should.
That's-
Rice wine vinegar has way more sugar than I thought it did.
Well, wait. When do you hear it? Guys, the child is haunting us as we speak. I don't know if you can. You probably can't pick it up on the mic, but it's
No.
happening. No, what I was gonna say is when you were in England for your trip, did you have like malt vinegar, all the things? Don't they like love malt vinegar?
I ate a lot of gherkins. Oh my god, I was gurked out, y'all. Gherkin and twerking, baby.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
That's what I'm gonna call my festival photo album. Gherkin,
Gherkin
and
and
twerking.
twerking. That's so funny. Well, no, because they're like chips with
Fish
malt
and chips.
vinegar.
Oh yeah, fish and
Right?
chips. Oh my god, so good. Jamie was joking last night. If any of you ever decide to date me,
Oh yeah.
it's an easy gift. I don't want tchotchkes. I don't want don't buy me garbage.
She wants vegetables and vinegar.
If you buy me something pickled, I will be tickled.
Quite literally, though.
Ooh,
That's so funny.
I love it. But I think like I'm so grateful for you that even though you have been slogging through this fun employment and like you've really been taking it on though. And I think it's like, we're not going to be perfect, right? Like there are days where it's like, I'm unemployed and I'm just going to spiral and be miserable, and that's okay. But like you pick up, you pull up, you've been like challenging yourself in so many ways to be creative. And I think that's all we can do. And
It's all we can do. And on that note, you and I have said it multiple times too. And this is also out there for anyone who is also still, again, struggling with the unemployment or whatever you want to succeed at situation.
yeah, you have a job and you still feel unworthy or whatever the garbage is.
But I guess in this particular situation for me and really for both of us, we say to each other and ourselves all the time, I know that it is like, there's only so much I can do. I apply to jobs that like I'm excited about, jobs I'm not that excited about because your girl needs money, or just whatever things I like look at on paper that I'm like, I can absolutely crush this fucking job. And you don't get it, right? You get that rejection email or you never hear back from them. No, but I really have to say to myself all the time that like, I do have a good resume and I've had a great career and I have a lot of skills.
You're so capable. It's
right.
I'm
capable. I know that I'm capable. I know I have good skills,
but part of the angst is you're like, I have so much to offer.
Right. But so do all the thousands or hundreds of other people that are applying for the same thing you are. It's a hard time right now. And what is it that we said for a while? It's like, we're going through unprecedented times. And I'm just like, well, I'd like to get back to precedented times.
I'd love to be in the press.
I would love for it to be precedented, please. I do get low. I'm not here to say that I am perfect by any means and say that like, la, 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 I'm having such a great time, because also kind of like you had mentioned, like lack of funds is also kind of something that makes fun employment not that fun.
No,
I don't have endless funds to just go do whatever I want, buy whatever I want. Literally, I think honestly, this was earlier today. I don't want you to feel bad about this, so you don't say a fucking word, but you also talk because it's your podcast too.
Oh no.
No, I was gonna say, there was just like a moment earlier where we weren't gonna record this podcast, and then we did. No, but I was really like, I had gotten together, so I was kind of just like, well, what do I do? And I was like, oh, maybe I'll go see a movie. And I talked myself out of spending the money to go see the movie. I was just like, not for forever. I'll still do it. I don't know. It was the kind of thing I'm just like, oh, I won't spend it today. I don't know. I'm sort of getting a little off track, but like, I'm just kind of saying that like, yes, there are days where I do feel low. You feel low.
Yeah.
We let ourselves feel low.
Yeah.
You can feel low. Because also sometimes it's better to just like let that train go.
Sometimes you gotta. And
let it get to the next
station.
station.
Yeah. And then sometimes you have an epiphany in the low. You're like, okay, I did something totally different, or I let myself be here because this is my starting point. Is I feel like garbage right now. Like that's part of our practice when we sit down and chant in front of our Gohanson, is like, I don't have to sit here and pretend to pull up. And that's how I used to chant. I used to chant and be like, no, everything's fine. This is an opportunity. I'm going to break through. I'm going to transform it. And then someone was like, that's not the point, Meg. The point is to go sit there and be honest with yourself of like, I don't feel good right now about this. This
and it's okay.
sucks.
And it's okay.
Then I could like actually cry about it or feel angry about it and then go,
that feels a lot better.
Okay, now I can actually now that I've purged that, I can think about what I'm going to do next. And I think an advice for you and me and the young women I support in my Buddhist organization and my clients is I'm like, we can be our own data encouragement. If we look back and go, look at that impossible thing that I never thought I would transform. Sky and I talk about that on the eating disorder episode. We never thought we would be in a world where we weren't controlled by the eating disorder.
Right.
And now I'm like, I can't even remember what that was like. I mean, I don't want to go there. But I think, yes, like there is an acceptance of this sucks right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can trust that when I look back on it, I will understand what it was all about. Like, Dasaku Ikeda, he often says that, like, when you're in it, it feels chaotic. And when you look back on it, it looks like a perfectly written script. You're like, oh, that led to that. That led to that. What did my dad always say to me, too, growing up? He'd be like, it's either you can change the situation. If you can't change it, what does he say?
If you can't change it, that's it.
You're fucked. I mean, no, but really, it's like when my mom says sit tight, and it's like, if you can change it, change it. If you can't, then sometimes you gotta just like
pivot
sit in the shit and like not sit and stay in the shit, but like it might just fucking suck right now. And literally he'd be like, Meg, sometimes it's just gonna suck for a while, but then again, you're gonna pop out inevitably because everything is constantly changing. And when you're gonna look back, and so like, yeah, this feels interminable,
but just right now.
But it's literally
for now.
Remember, then you got the job and you were like, oh my God, I'm so busy and I'm freaking out. And we're like,
exactly. Oh,
2 weeks ago,
for sure, we've got some freakouts ahead of us. Like, let's all be real clear.
I can't wait to freak out about that, though. I'm so excited for those problems.
No, I know, me too. And very much what you're saying, because I've said it to so many people all the time. Like, this terrible thing that's happening right now, depending on what it is, but for the most part, this is a moment. It's a moment, like in the grand scheme of things, it is a blip in your life.
Fleck of dust.
It's like a blip, and it's like you're saying, we're gonna be celebrating soon.
Yeah, we're
gonna have things to look forward to soon. We're gonna have jobs and money, and everything's gonna be great. But
and our lives are blessed,
just,
and like we can go on a tangent and talk about what's happening in the rest of the world and the horrors and the genocide, and like that shit is still happening.
But you can just go on TikTok and find out about it. Oh my God.
But I think a yes and of like we can acknowledge that there are like we're bitching about not having consistent work because our industry is a dumpster fire. But like to validate, and this is very much in the pop culture now, but like problems are problems.
Yeah.
Validate what you're going through. Validate that whatever it is, even if it seems so silly, like I'm not even gonna give a bad example, but validate that it's hard for you, because if we don't, then we get stuck and like
you'll never let it go. It'll kind of permeate your brain for forever.
And we can compare and contrast and be like, oh yeah, okay, so this episode comes out October 9th. That's the 7-year anniversary that my fucking town burned down.
Whoa.
And I can go for sure. And at the time I had like SIBO and a gut parasite, and I was burning to the ground in New York, and like my life felt chaotic and it was miserable. And I can look back and be like, Meg, what are you complaining about? But this is pain now. I have real pain now, and I'm not going to like sweep it under the rug. And I think that kept me sick for a lot of years, being comparing my own suffering. It's like, let yourself, you have something going on. We're people, that's guaranteed.
If you don't have something going on,
you're dead.
I don't even know what that looks like.
That's what they say. There's that adage, or that old like story about show me people that don't have problems, and the guy takes them to a graveyard. They're the only ones without problems.
Right. So yeah, everyone, we've all got shit going on. So let's all just be kind to your friends. If you know for sure that they're going through something, be kind to your friends and your family, even if you don't know that they've got something going on. And for sure, be fucking kind to yourself.
Yeah. And you can ask people, do you want to talk about it or not talk about it? That's, we got a thumbs up.
Yes.
Yeah. FaceTime said, yeah.
All right. Just one.
But yeah, truly, like we don't have to.
I tried.
Explosion. No, we can't.
If you're watching the YouTube, we were doing the reactions again.
Anyway, we look like shitty mimes.
Keep going.
That's pretty much it. I just like thank you for sharing your heart and being transparent today.
Thank you. And guys, also, little bit of a floaty episode, because have you been listening? We are in a floaty space.
I'm a squiggly line in my own eye.
Literally,
just floating around.
No, but thanks so much for tuning in and for listening to us. And, if you want to bend our ear at any point, please reach out and let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, like what are things that you maybe use when you're in an ambiguous place?
Yeah, if you've got something to share that helps you,
we will tell your story anonymously or anonymously.
No, but like, thank you so much for being part of our community and here with us and listening to us, kind of like Meg is saying. So if you want to reach out, again, no one emails us, but you could Podchronic@gmail.com if you want to reach out and tell us anything, what you're going through, what someone else is going through, what you do to get yourself out of a funk.
Etymology.
Please send us etymologies, like, so she can talk about it and we can talk about it. I would love to hear more. I mean,
Oh.
she's got them, but like, we want more.
We could always go for more.
And you can send them in the DMs because you can reach out and follow us and send messages and etymologies and anything else you want on Instagram and TikTok at chronic_pod.
Boom.
You won't find me. Find me on LinkedIn.
You'll never find Jamie.
I need a job.
Hire Jamie.
Hire me. Meg, anything you'd like to plug?
Well, this comes out the morning of my show, 10 p.m. at UCB.
October 9th, UCB Franklin in LA.
Every other Wednesday.
It's so funny. Please come out. It's really, really funny. It's so good.
Oh, my nose itches.
Also, you can reach out to Meg if you want to be coached. Again, I have been a student. What would you say?
A student of the Buzza method.
Kind of, though. What is that called?
Client.
A client. I've been a client of Meg's.
Yeah, I'm working with corporate clients and it's really freaking cool. So you don't have to be a creative at all. Like it
spans,
baby. Breakthroughs are breakthroughs.
I feel really, I'm not kidding. I feel very light and good. So thank you so much for this
That's
conversation.
why
I feel
was
good.
Like, I feel like we need to actually talk about what's going on in our hearts because our hearts have been heavy.
They have been. So, but look, we figured it out.
Hooray! We solved everything today. Bye.
We're
done.
perfect. Woo! See you guys later. No, but yeah. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.